Hi there, everybody. I'm Melissa with Scented Balance Aromatherapy, and I hope I'm your favorite certified aromatherapist. And I'm excited because I'm here today with Cyrus Bush. Goodness. And it's a good thing Cyrus is here because I get excited and nervous. And Cyrus is the owner and the coach and mentor of a confident performer in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And he has this awesome business card, and it says that he helps you release anxiety and share your gifts. Can't we all use a little bit of that? Welcome, Cyrus. Thank you so much for the time today.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you,
yeah.
Melissa.
Hugs.
I'm so glad to be with you today. I just love you, and I love what you're doing in the
Thank
world and
you.
the impact you're having on so many people's lives and health. So yeah, I'm honored.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to talk to you today because I know you and I have talked before. And by the way, we know Cyrus and I know each other through a local networking group, and that's how we met. And I really appreciate when I call them other practitioners, when practitioners want to talk about what they do, because I feel like sometimes the medical community has kind of let us down, and we feel like there's only one way to calm anxiety or to work with depression or to work with traumatic incidents, and that's going to a doctor and getting a pill. And I don't see it that way because, hello, I'm an aromatherapist and I offer an alternative method, but and I do help people with anxiety. And so I think what you do through a confident performer helps can be helpful for anyone. And so I want to know about the tapping and how it helps.
Well, I am happy to tell you about the tapping. Let me tell you, I discovered this modality when I was a chaplain at Thomasville Medical Center,
Mhm.
and I thought my friend who was telling me about it was pulling my leg. I did not believe it was for real, but I was really anxious about an upcoming presentation. And after I did this thing with her for about 10 or 15 minutes, Melissa, my anxiety just disappeared, and I thought it was like magic. And so I started studying emotional freedom techniques, is what the official
Okay.
name is. But it's also called tapping because we tap on certain places on meridian endpoints, the
Mhm.
points that are used for acupuncture and acupressure.
Mhm.
And Harvard has done a 10-year study, and they've realized that when you tap on these particular points, it sends a calming message to the fight or flight center, our amygdala, to help it calm down. And when that happens, the rational part of our brain comes back online. We're able to think more clearly. We're able to make better decisions. We're able to be present for others and for ourselves, and to show up with more authenticity, more peaceful, more calm. And it's just amazing. I'm not sure if that's enough to start with to whet your appetite.
But I like the part because I think everybody can relate to being anxious when either speaking with someone new or speaking in front of a crowd or even making a small presentation,
Right.
even if it's on Zoom. Maybe you're making a presentation to your boss and it's like, oh boy, I just have butterflies in my stomach. And
Yeah.
so I think I just love the part that it just can calm anxiety,
Yeah.
and there's no pills.
I love that too. Oh
No
yeah,
trips to
yeah,
the doctor. And I am
yeah.
big on that. I want to
Yeah,
help people calm their anxiety because, over the last year, we have been in a very anxious situation.
we have.
Whether you think so or not,
Yeah,
we're anxious.
yeah,
So
yeah.
awesome.
Well, and we can be anxious about that, but we can also be anxious because somebody pushed our buttons
Mhm.
and they made us angry. They made us feel inferior. They made us feel something that is negative, and we'd love to change that. And so, by this modality that I use, you can have a profound shift in the way you react when you see that person coming down the hall or coming to your office or whatever, uh, because you've done this work and you aren't triggered anymore. So it's really terrific for lowering anxiety around a great number of things. Performance anxiety. I was
Mhm.
a music major, And funny thing, but I was anxious about giving a presentation, and I've done solos, and I've played piano, I've directed church choirs, and done all these things for years. But you never quite know where it's coming from. You can dig a little deeper and find out often what's causing this negative emotion. And with the tapping, you can address it and get some
Mhm.
really significant shifts.
Could could you say that even along with shifting, there is some emotional healing going on
Oh,
when
I
you do the
see.
tapping?
Yeah, I see this all the time with clients. And, I love the analogy of a wound that's got debris in it. You've got the wound, but in order for the wound to heal, you have to debride it. You have to get the trash and
Mhm,
the gunk out of it before you can put the
mhm,
neosporin or other healing compound in the bandage. And so we've, through life, you experience all sorts of wounds. And
mhm.
if they are not properly addressed, if we just cover them over and ignore them, they can fester and they can come back to haunt us. So with this technique, with this modality, and with a trained practitioner, you can get to the heart of some things that may have been causing you all sorts of anxiety and just sucking the life out of you for who knows how long. Yeah,
So that
healing.
that could include childhood traumas as well.
It definitely can include that. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
I know you and I have had a couple of tapping sessions, and they've really it's just it is amazing that, wow, I do feel better. I don't feel maybe so angry, or I don't feel so frustrated, or I don't feel so anxious, or
Yeah,
triggered. And
yeah.
even smells can trigger.
So true.
But we want you to smell the aromatherapy and have good triggers.
So true. So true. When you say that, I think that one of the triggers is the smell of chocolate for a lot of people. And
Oh
so
yeah.
food cravings, we can
Mhm.
be hooked with food cravings and we think there's nothing we can do. But guess what? With the tapping, you can literally change the way your brain is reacting when you smell certain things. And so they've done study in Australia, a 10-year study about Peter Stapleton is the name of the researcher. And they've done brain scans of people looking at this decadent chocolate, and it lights up, it fires when they see the chocolate.
Yeah.
And 4 weeks later, 2 hours of tapping each week, 8 hours of tapping, 4 weeks, they go through the scan again, and the brain looking at the same piece of cake does not light up. So you can actually get rid of food cravings with this too.
Oh, that is amazing. What about smoking?
I'm sure it works with that as well. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. I mean, there's all sorts of little addictions, or maybe not little, but there's
yeah,
all sorts of things like that that people feel like, I just don't have the willpower, or I'm just so tired of fighting this battle.
yeah,
So tapping is one way to help
to
you
address
in
it.
this battle, so you don't feel alone, or you just don't have to go cold turkey. We'll put it that way.
It certainly is a wonderful tool to give you aid. Nothing is 100% proof, as
Sure.
you well know,
Yeah.
but it's sort of like, let's try to say, how do you, there's something about changing a light bulb, but it has to want to change. There's a really good joke there, but I can't remember.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. You're kind.
Nothing like dad jokes, right?
and but not being able to deliver them. My kids love to pick on me because I always mess them up.
Well, that's half
And
the fun.
I'm embarrassed. I'm just embarrassing myself.
I love it. Well, what I wanted to focus on today with the tapping, and if you don't mind, I'd like to just show who's ever watching now and later
Yeah.
a little bit about tapping. And I just believe right now, especially for me, I tend to be a little on the anxious side, and there's a lot of people that will say, "No fooling, really?" Um, but I know that this adventure that we've been on in 2020 has really spiked a lot of anxiety, and so it doesn't mean that there's anything to trigger it. It just means that it's, for me, generalized and
Yeah.
isolated and tired and cranky and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. But the anxiety, I feel like, whether you admit it or not,
Yeah.
we've all felt a little anxious about what life's
Yeah.
going to look like on the other side.
Yeah.
So is there tapping to help us with that? I mean,
Sure.
I would love it because I think it would help
Yeah.
me. Talk me
Well,
down out of the trees, Cyrus.
right. Well, let's do this. Let's explore. I want you to put your hand on your, well, actually put both hands on your heart and just take a nice, deep, nourishing breath all the way down to your belly button. Exhale. Take another deep, cleansing breath and exhale. And just come back. I want you to echo and do everything I do.
Okay.
Just mimic what I do. So tap right here on the side of your hand and say, even though I'm feeling so anxious.
Even though I'm feeling so anxious.
And when I think about my body, I feel it in my body wherever. I don't know. Where do you feel it?
Whenever I think about my body, I feel anxiety in my body, most of the time in my chest.
So right now I'm feeling anxious in my chest. So, okay.
Right now, I'm feeling anxious in my chest.
I acknowledge this is how I'm feeling.
I acknowledge this is how I'm feeling.
And I'm open to the possibility of a shift.
And I'm open to the possibility of a shift. Yes,
A positive shift.
a positive shift.
So tapping on the very top of the head, focus on that sensation in your body, all this anxiety,
All this anxiety,
where the hair begins on your eyebrows, this anxiety I feel in my chest,
this anxiety I feel in my chest.
beside the eye, right there, the bone, all this anxiety,
All this anxiety,
under the pupil, all this anxiety,
all this anxiety,
under the nose, feeling so much anxiety in my chest,
feeling so much anxiety in my chest.
the tip in the chin, feeling so much anxiety.
Feeling just so much anxiety.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how much anxiety was it you were feeling?
Right now, about 5, because
Okay.
I'm nervous.
Okay. Yeah. Where the collarbone points, where the tip comes together, down just a bit, now just a bit.
Okay.
This anxiety I'm feeling
This anxiety I'm feeling.
under the armpit, about four fingers. All this
Okay.
anxiety
All this anxiety.
back up to the top of the head. I'm feeling it in my chest.
I'm feeling it in my chest.
Squeeze your wrist. Take a deep breath. Exhale and say peace.
Peace.
That was one round of tapping. Tune in and see what you notice. If the intensity went up, down, or stayed the same.
I went down a little bit, but I feel tingly.
Do you? That's a good
Yeah.
sign. That's a good
Yeah.
sign. Yeah.
It's like
I-
oxygen is getting into the
yeah.
meridian points.
Yeah. You can, and we could do that around and around a few more times, but for the sake of education and giving another tool for you and your folks, I want you to know that you can do this. It's called the Rake Technique. And so if you've got just a little bit of time and you're wanting to tap and hit a lot of meridian endpoints, you take the tips of your fingers, start at your belly button.
Okay.
You're focusing on the anxiety in your chest or wherever you're feeling the anxiety. So breathing deeply as you really tap on your torso, coming up inch by inch up your torso, tapping.
With all the
Breathing
fingers.
deep with all of your fingers like this. And when you get to the collarbone, go back and forth, left to right, breathing deeply and tapping. All this anxiety, just thinking about the anxiety you're feeling, having to get back out there in the workforce, this anxiety you're feeling because of what someone said, this anxiety because I'm doing this presentation with Cyrus on this YouTube. Oh, this anxiety, feeling so anxious. And when you get back to the middle, collarbone goes straight back down, breathing deeply until you get to the belly button. And then stop, take a deep breath, and blow it out. And that's just a quick way to do tapping if you're going to do a presentation or you're going to, do something and you don't have a whole lot of time to do rounds and rounds of tapping.
Right.
Okay, so
It feels like to me that what it's doing is breaking up some stuck energy, and that energy might be anxious energy or angry energy or sad energy, anything, any emotion.
I think you're very accurate. I think it does that. There are tapes that are running in the subconscious that are always saying, if we encounter something based on our previous experience, then the red flag goes up and we're in danger. So we've got systems that are in place, habitual responses to things. And so the body produces a flood of cortisol and adrenaline to help run or fight or freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that's the case, yeah, there's all this anxiety and stress and tension that's in the body it gets stuck from years past. Certain things get stuck in the body, and this tapping has a way of dislodging it and letting it just melt away or flow away, whatever you want to use, what image you want to use. But it's remarkable what that can do.
And you can do it at any time or anywhere.
Right.
And I understand that even if you don't want everyone and their brother, around you to know that you're tapping, you can use your fingers.
That's true. There are points on the fingers that you can use at the bed, near the bed of the thumb,
Mm-hmm.
near the bed of the forefinger, just on the side beside the fingernail.
Mm-hmm.
These are tapping points that are associated with the meridians.
Okay.
And on the pinky. And there's also a wonderful, the 9 gamut point, the 2 bones of your ring finger and the pinky right in this little valley there
Mm-hmm.
is a really good place to tap. It's called the 9 gamut point. And in some cultures, it's considered an additional organ in the body. It is so powerful to tap on it. So the 9 gamut is a wonderful place. I'll just put it here on my heart
On
and
your
tap.
heart.
And I'm feeling so anxious.
So if you're
All this anxiousness.
sitting there waiting for a job interview, whether it's on Zoom or in person,
The fingertips and the 9 gamut.
no one needs to know because I'm tapping right now. And I think it's a wonderful way to just help get rid of that excess energy that can make you feel so wound tight.
Yeah. And I cannot overemphasize the importance of acknowledging what you're feeling. So all this anxiousness, so anxious, feeling so anxious. And I do that. I recommend doing that several times until you yawn or you feel an energy shift. And when that happens, you continue by saying, I'd love to release this anxiousness. It's not serving me. I choose to be calm. I choose to be peaceful. I've got the goods. I've done the homework. I choose to be calm and peaceful. And I choose to walk in there showing up as my authentic self and just taking them by storm, or whatever you want to say.
Or share my gift.
Or share my gifts. Yeah, release my anxiety and share my gifts. The world needs your gifts.
I love that it's on your business card. Of course, your sweet face is on the other side.
I'll go
but
on.
It's release anxiety. And I know this is going to be backwards, but release anxiety and share your gifts. And how many of us feel so anxious about sharing our gifts and then we don't? And I just think there's a million aromatherapists out there, but there's nobody like me.
There's no one like you.
That's helped me, and I love that. I love that. Cyrus, I'm just so grateful for this because there's something that I can take away right now and use it. Where can we find you? How if we want more, because you teach this, right? You have classes.
I do teach this technique, EFT, and it's a 2-weekend course. It's level 1 on one weekend, and the next weekend it's level 2. I've got an event coming up April the 17th and 18th, the 24th and 25th. So if people want to sign up and learn the nuts and bolts of how to use tapping for themselves or start a second career, or just help family and friends. It's a wonderful way to learn this modality, and I highly recommend it.
Awesome. So where can we find
Oh,
you?
thank you. Yeah, I have a web address, aconfidentperformer.com. And I
Okay.
have a business Facebook page by the same title, A Confident Performer Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm there, A Confident Performer. So all those places, and I live in Pofftown, just outside Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put all of your information because this is going to be a blog post, and I love the chance to do a video or an interview, even though I'm nervous.
You're doing
So
great. You're doing great.
thank you.
Yeah,
So in the blog post, I'll have all of your contact information so we know
yeah.
where to find you, so you can't
Excellent.
hide.
I don't want to.
Cyrus, thank you so much. You've actually helped me today, and I feel so much better, and I just feel a little bit lighter. And I really appreciate your time, and I hope to talk to you soon and hug your neck in person.
In real person, in real. I can't wait. I love you, my friend.
Awesome. I love
Thank
you
you.
too, Cyrus. Thank you so much.
All right. Take